Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kwakadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Mystery of the World, Ramanasha, DC Camp, another short lesson to edify the hopeful elect, bringing the words of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai to the elect of the Lord of on the highways and byways. Just bear with me, Akim. Just gotta shake off this weather. But there's no excuse. Going into the last days, and the people need to know exactly what's going on. So these Japanese journalists, was at the conference with other journalists, and they got to have certain moments or time to ask Putin, so-called Prime Minister of Russia, ask him a question and give their own commentary. So it just goes to let you know, man, that the words of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai do not go out void. A lot of these journalists, they watch the videos, they see exactly what's going on, they do their research, they do their due diligence, and the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai convinces them that World War III is going to happen. So what these world leaders get put in the hot seat by the word of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, they find it hard to resist. They try, to act like nothing is going on, but the men of the Lord know. So I'll play the video. The audio is not really there, so you can always watch it on YouTube, whenever you get a chance or whatever site the clip has been uploaded to, so you can follow along. So you could just read read the caption at the bottom of the screen. Yep, he said, but I'd like to ask about your opinions, like your opinion on nuclear war. Yeah, so just imagine, man, that's a topic they're trying their best to avoid, but it's happening, man. There's no way around it. There's the words of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. Right, when you read the book of Isaiah. All right. So let me get this quick precept. It's gonna be from the book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verse 11. So this is music to the ears of the prophets. All right. So this is Proverbs chapter 25, verse 11. It says, "The word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pitchers of silver," meaning it fits, it's perfect. All right, it captivates the mind because this is exactly what you're expecting. You know, it attracts your imagination. It gets your attention. Or that's what art is supposed to. Good works of art is supposed to do. All right, you can't just resist to do a double take. That's what art is all about. Is to inspire you, and that's exactly what you see from the question. This is what I'd like to ask about your opinion on nuclear war. So when the Lord heard the pause, the phrase nuclear war, we know that we're getting closer, man. We're getting closer to the demise of Esau's power structure. All right, the end of Babylon, the end of the EU, the end of the heathen rulership. The coming of the Lord Yahweh Shai and his angels, and then you have to include the salvation of our people, the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans. All right, it's a beautiful thing. So just read on from the caption below the screen. Yeah, so it says the U.S. doesn't want to extend the so-called, you know, documented, or what you call the agreement they already had concerning, the START treaty, the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. All right, so the plan to get rid of nuclear weapons, but that's all a charade. You know, when you read the book of Revelations, it tells you that's 200,000 missiles, man. So that lets you know, man, these nations, the EU the NATO and the Russia and America, they're not just pretending. They're giving the people false information. Giving the people just information for public consumption. But in actuality, they're all gearing up for the final war, the war of Armageddon. All right, and then just see exactly what Putin says. All right. All right, it says the coming nuclear war. All right, so it's when the agreement, just like the shark sap talks about, the water was dried, the water, the Euphrates was dried and all that. Meaning the treaties and all the agreements they've made, it goes to the side, man, of so it could prepare for the way for the kings of the east. It's exactly what it's talking about, man. So all this so-called agreement is gonna go. It's gonna go away, man. It's gonna become seriously hostile. All right. So the old man says that, and when this treaty expires, all right, meaning again, it's no longer renewable. That means when it expires, okay, because it's gonna expire. There's not gonna be no more any collaboration, man, because it's going down. All right. It says there will be nothing to curb the arms race. And that's exactly what the Lord Yahweh Shai is planning to do. And that's what he wants. That's what he wants this elite to do. So they could foster their own destruction. Then it says, and possibly the coming nuclear war. All right. The possibility of that happening is 100%. It's according to the scriptures of Lord Yahweh Shai. All right. That's one thing people need to understand, man. This stuff is no joke. All right, so I'm going to get another quick precept. It's going to be from Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 19. All right, because these journalists that follow this issue seriously, they understand the demise of their peoples, the headaches they got to deal with. All right, so this is Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 19. It says, my bowels, my bowels. All right, since the men of the Lord are going through this tough times, these journalists that do their homework, they're also having questions too. All right. Jeremiah 4 and 19. My bowels, I am pained at my very heart. My heart maketh a noise in me. I cannot hold my peace. All right. Because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. And that's exactly what's going on in this man's head right here, man. This Ammonite journalist. All right, these Edomites don't really want to talk about it, but for the Ammonites to get up there among these Edomites and other heathens to bring up this issue, it lets you know that the Lord Yahweh is walking on the minds. All right, the Mosiah is letting people know that this nuclear war is inevitable. All right, it's going to be a terrible time on the face of the earth. Okay, and then when you look at Joel chapter 2, verse 1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and that's what the men of the Lord need to do. All right, the prophets, all right, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai Bashim Krakodash cometh, for it is nigh at hand. All right, the one reach verse 2 talks about how terrible it is, okay? Dreadful day. And that's exactly what this journalist he's thinking about, man. It's gonna be crazy because he understands the use of nuclear weapons or the effects it has. Because all the bombs the United States drops on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he sees the use of depleted uranium in lands that, you know, they were at war. Okay, so he understands, man. He understands the devastation that can take place. And then I play the video some more, and then you read the captions, you have an idea of what these elites are trying to hide. But at the end of the day, it's going to be revealed. Right? And this is what this is what the dude says. What do you think? I think Putin tells him to bite his tongue, meaning to shut the hell up. You know, you need to shut up. So that's exactly what they want you to think, man. They don't want to talk about it because they understand, man, that shit gotta hit the fan. They don't want to cause much concern around the people, but it's gonna happen. These elites, they've been planning this shit. They've been funding this agenda, this arms race. They've been funding it, man. They're basically playing both sides, or all parties against each other, so they could come out on top. And that's the plan. And when you read Ezekiel chapter 38, it tells you the plan that the Lord Yahweh has for Russia. All right, so this is Ezekiel chapter 38. I'm going to read a couple of precepts from that, if I believe the first four. Okay, so this verse 1 says, And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. All right, and say, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And that's exactly what you're looking at here, man. The Lord Yahweh Shai is setting up the stage for the destruction of Russia, the destruction of America, the destruction of NATO, the EU, all right, the destruction of the land of Japan, China, uh, you just name it, man. The Middle East, India, Pakistan, all right, the Saudi Arabia, the land of Israel. The Lord has a way, of making this destruction take place, all right. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, all right. And that's why the Lord Yahweh is going to bring back this animosity. He's going to turn it up, okay, between the east and the west, all right. And I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Then when I read verse 5, it tells you they have the Persians, they have the Ethiopians, they have Libya. All right? So that's how messed up it's going to be. And then when you read Revelation chapter 13, verses 1 and 2, it tells you how this power structure of Esau was set up. Right, so it's Revelation chapter 13, verses 1 and 2. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? That's the EU and NATO. And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. All right, that's the origin of the Edomite rulership that's starting with the Greeks. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, and that represents the Russians. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, that's England. And the dragon gave him his power, okay, and his seat and great authority. All right, so the leopard is just another version of how the Lord describes the power structure of these Edomites, man. So starting with the Greeks and the ends with the Russian, and that's about it. Okay, and that's how messed up, this nightmare is gonna be in this last day, man. It's gonna be so crazy, terrible animals, terrible beasts, So that's how messed up this confrontation is gonna be when you have wild beasts going against each other. It's gonna be terrible. All right, Putin telling the old man to bite his tongue. And that's one thing when you go to college or when you're in class, when you ask a question that's so serious that the instructor doesn't want to answer it. It lets you know that you're up to something, that you need to follow up, start digging and doing your research. All right, it says the coming nuclear war. Well, everything says, what are you talking about? Right, so that's prophecy right there, Akim. So you just have to understand that, Trump doesn't want to talk about it. All those princes in Arabia don't want to talk about it. Moab don't want to talk about it on the news. Russians don't want to talk about it. They want to hide it from the people because they know the people will have a serious uproar. But it's nothing the people can do because it's all prophecy of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, so that was the point there, Hakim. This topic is not going away. It's going to gain more steam. Folk going to be talking about the RFID chip on a daily basis now. And then the idea of nuclear war. All right, that's the time we're going into. So expect more chaos and more disturbances, man, in these last days. Shalom.